Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons, and we're excited to partner with Singing News TV to bring you a brand new series called Legends. It's 10 episodes and 10 legends. We'll have an inside look on some of the living legends of Southern gospel music. You'll hear their stories directly from them, and we might even sing a song together. So subscribe to Singing News TV and check out Legends today. Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons. Welcome to Singing News TV, where today we'll be spending time with two of the living legends of Southern gospel music. Their stories are fascinating, their songs never get old, and their contributions have been priceless. Family groups have always played a very large part in Southern gospel music. There's been no group more loved or awarded than the Hoppers. Today we're at the house of the legends who started it all. I've heard he's a jokester, and she is the epitome of elegance and grace, and perhaps the prettiest woman to stand on the stage of Southern gospel music. So join us today as we celebrate the love story of Claude and Connie Hopper. Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons, and welcome to this episode of Legends. And today we have Brother Claude and Miss Connie Hopper. Thank you guys so much for letting me be here today. This means so much to me.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Well, look, how about this? To start the interview off, we're going to start with you, Brother Claude, if you don't mind. And I want to talk about, in 1957, y'all started the Hopper Brothers.
Right.
I want you to tell us about your brothers and why y'all decided to start singing.
1957, I had a Civatone guitar made by Sis Roebuck. We started around my mama's kitchen table. I played the guitar. It's 5 brothers. It's Paul, Steve, Monroe, Will, myself. And then later, we needed some help. And one day, my younger brothers suggested we get a piano player. And I worked for the A&P in Madison. And she come riding by. And I remember Connie in high school, she played the piano. And she played basketball, and she was the best on the team, and people loved her playing. And she's played a lot of assembly programs, and so she come and stopped at the stoplight. And I walked out, and I knocked on the door on her window, and she rolled it down, and I said, I've started a quartet, and we're looking for a piano player. Would
He
you
didn't
be?
say, hey, how are you? Where are you going?
He got right to the point.
He got right to the point.
Yeah, I got right to the point. I said, would you be interested in playing the piano for the Hopper Brothers? And she says, I'll have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the light turned green. She says, I'll do it. So that's been many, many years ago. When we first started out, we needed a lot of help. And the lady from my hometown, Mrs. C.T. Sutherland, she worked us with a voice, and also J.D. Sumner, Donnie Sumner, and his piano player, Bob McCollums. They helped us also. Then we ended up down in Leroy Abernathy's studio, and he told us more about the music.
Right.
And so you're looking at somebody. I spent 67 years in gospel music, and I didn't get here by myself. And if I'm ever successful or be successful, it'd be because of people like you. And I really mean that. I remember the scripture, it said, delight yourself in the Lord, and He'll give you the size of your heart. My mom was a church planner, and she'd get us up early on a Sunday morning. We'd walk from here 3 miles to the Baptist church. As a teenager, I accepted Jesus as my personal Savior. And He's been with me all my life. And not because I've had struggles. I've had a couple of strokes, and I've had a couple of bouts of depression. And I've had my first open heart surgery this year. But God has brought me through.
Amen.
God has chastised me when I did things wrong. That's the truth. And God's been good. And while I got her, I wasn't interested in marrying her. I just wanted her to play the piano. And then I had to go in service, and so I went to Fort Leonard, Missouri. And I came home on my boot leave, and I was engaged to 6 girls. And so I got here, and I came by my dad one day. I said, "Dad, I got a half a mind to marry Connie." And he said, "Son, that's all you need is a half a mind." So we got married. We celebrated 63 years, and she's a queen of gospel music as far as I'm concerned. And she knew music because her dad was a Stamps Baxter. He learned the Stamps Baxter things, and she learned from her dad, and she could play by music or she could play by ear, and she was the best as far as I was concerned.
Yes, sir. Well, Miss Connie, it's kind of ironic that the legendary singer you are today, that you started off playing the piano. So you started playing off the piano for the Hopper Brothers. When did you start singing with them?
I started singing when their youngest brother got married and he left the group. And so they, instead of going out and hiring somebody, I started full time. Before that, I might sing a song, one song in the program. But then I joined the group and singing my part, and did that up until just a few years ago, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I want to go back to something interesting you said. You went into the service, and I didn't know that. When did you go into the service? Did the Hoppers kind of pause for a little bit there?
Yeah, they paused because I was Fort Leonard, Missouri. That must have been in 58 when I went to Fort Leonard Wood, and I came back here and I got married, and then I went to Fort Jackson and then Fort Bragg. And I learned a lot. My dad was a disciplinarian, but I learned more from the Army because they taught you self-respect and they disciplined you also. And that was a great experience, and I'm glad I went.
Yes, sir. Well, if I'm correct, y'all got married in 1961.
Right, we did.
Now, this is what I want to know. How did Brother Claude ask you to marry? Do you remember?
I think he came with a ring. He had a ring, and and he asked me, presented me with the ring, and asked me to marry him. And exactly, to say that it was some time that, do you really remember that time?
Yeah.
Where were we?
I have no idea.
You know what? We knew that we wanted to get married, so anyway, we did in 1961. We had a church wedding, and I got pictures here of the whole deal, and at my home church, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm guessing you two fell in love with each other while you were singing in the group, or playing the piano in the group.
Well, he still, when I first started playing piano for them, he still had his girlfriends, and I had a boyfriend. But in a little while, that all changed, and he kids about when he came and asked his dad, he was thinking about marrying me. I realized that this guy that I was seeing, it wasn't really what I needed, and we just had too much in common, I guess.
That's
with
right.
the music and learning the songs, and I picked a lot of the songs and worked with them with their parts, and just did a lot of things there at first. And
She was excellent with parts.
Really?
She knew the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do's, and she knew how to do the baritone, the bass,
Wow.
and the lead and the tenor, and she was a great asset. And if I've ever been successful, it's because of her.
I don't know about that.
I'm just a country boy, started here, never thought the Lord allowed me to do what I wanted to do. And we've sung around the world almost, in Ireland and Scotland and London and Toronto, and it's been a wonderful time to sing with my family.
Yes, sir.
Well, I had always loved music. I grew up in a little Methodist church, and I accepted the Lord when I was 10 years old, but I remember when I was about 6 that He really spoke to my heart. And I had a love for music. I did, and God had to put that there, you know. And when He asked me about playing the piano for them, I wasn't sure, you know, where that was going. I didn't know anything about gospel music as you see it today and as it is. But I loved music and I loved the Lord. And then I got to hearing some songs that I'd never heard before, the gospel songs, and I'd just weep. I mean, for the message in them and what it did to me. And I just thought, after I started with them, you know, if we can sing and if it can reach people and touch lives, then that's what this is all about.
How about this? We're going to take a small break, but folks, stay right where you are. We'll be right back with Claude and Connie Harper.
Dreaming of an unforgettable getaway filled with music, faith, and breathtaking ocean views? Join Tate Emmons aboard the Harmony at Sea 2026 cruise. Setting sail February 23rd through the 28th on the Carnival Freedom. We're heading to Celebration Key, Nassau, and the stunning Half Moon Cay. A trip that's part paradise, part praise, and all unforgettable. Alongside Tate Emmons, enjoy the Browders, the Allens, Right Road Quartet, Danny Funderburk, Heart to Heart, the Seiler family, and more. Be sure to register with Tate Emmons so you can be part of his special onboard events and exclusive experiences. Expect live concerts, powerful worship, artist meet and greets, and plenty of fun at sea. Whether you're soaking up the sun or singing under the stars, this is a trip you don't want to miss. Cabins are limited, so book now. Visit www.praise.events or call 865-278-3681 and sign up with Tate Emmons to set sail for a week of music, inspiration, and adventure. Harmony at Sea 2026, where faith, music, and fun come together. Get ready for a weekend of incredible music in the heart of the Smoky Mountains. Singing in the Smokies 2025 is almost here. It's going to be an unforgettable celebration of gospel music, talent, and tradition. Join us Thursday through Saturday, July 3rd through the 5th, with the Inspirations, the Troy Burge Family, the Chuckwagon Gang, Jeff Tolbert and Primitive Road, the Isbells, Resurrection Quartet, the Wisnets, Jonathan Wilburn, Tate Emmons, the Blythe Family, the Kamey Reunion, Karen Peck and New River, the Kingsmen, and the Dove Brothers. Singing in the Smokies 2025 in beautiful, scenic Bryson City, North Carolina. The Hopper Heritage Foundation has been awarding scholarships for more than 2 decades, helping to further the education of future Christian leaders, whether music, teaching, missions. The scope is vast and the potential is yours. To learn more, visit thehopperheritagefoundation.org and submit your application today.
Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons and welcome back to this episode of Legends. And today we have Brother Claude and Connie Harper. So you guys got married in 1961, we touched on that. And then your kids came along, and when your kids joined, y'all became the Hoppers.
1970, we just changed and our neighbors got mad with us because our bus had the Hopper Brothers and Connie, and we took Connie off the bus, and they got upset. But in 1964, we entered the National Quartet Convention talent contest. We was competing against 84 groups. And we won that year, and we thought we had arrived. And I'm telling you, that was, I met Governor Jimmy Davis there.
Wow.
And I remember.
And Elvis Presley was backstage.
Are you going to tell it?
No, go ahead.
Did y'all meet Elvis back there?
We met Elvis Presley in 1964. He came backstage, you know, and
Wow.
J.D. Sumner, he didn't sing, J.D. Sumner introduced him. But speaking of J.D. and the Stamps has been right here to eat, and J.D. was a friend to me. But I want to go back. Sometimes I wonder, what am I doing? You know, singing gospel music, and am I doing any good?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget, I was in Swanee River singing years ago. I was putting up records, LK, 33 and a third. That's before the cassette, and 8 tracks came along. But I saw a man coming, he had his cap on, and I thought, well, what's on his mind? And he just kept coming, and finally he got there and he took off his cap. He said, I want you to know my life was changed in such a place in Bruce, Mississippi, and I accepted Jesus as my personal Savior.
Wow.
And I've never gotten over that. And I hope music has changed people, I really do. That was my goal. Mm-hmm. And my mama thought so much of the late Will Rogers. She named my brother Will Rogers.
Wow.
This is a true story. I adopted the late great Will Rogers' philosophy, and I got all of his books. He said, I've never met a man I didn't like, never met a man I couldn't learn from, and everybody you meet is an opportunity.
Wow.
That's true. That's an opportunity. And I was born right here on this farm, and I have still farm. Part-time, I have about 60 or 70 head of cattle, and I have 2 donkeys, and my farm is all it's fenced in, and this is where I have my time, and I roll hay and rake hay and cut hay. But God's been good to me.
So you still do that?
Yes.
You're still going strong farming. Well, I want to go back to the Hoppers just a second, and there was a big change in the Hoppers when Kim joined the group. What impact did that have?
It had a great impact because I had been singing the high part most of the time, but I sure couldn't sing the notes that she could. And the very first song that she ever recorded with us went to #1 and stayed there 4 months. And now I understand there people are requesting that. Here I am, and they're singing it now. And that's just a great song with a great message. Just been there, and Kim's a singer that, you know, if she feels, I know when she was expecting Carly, the oldest one, she would have her times with that, but she'd come on the stage and she would hit her notes, and you know, she just did it, and she loves the music, loves to sing, and she's still doing it, and she's just a great singer.
Yes, ma'am. Well, speaking of Carly, there's a point in the Hoppers that there were 3 generations singing on stage. Not only did you have y'all, not only did you have your children, but you also had your grandchildren on stage. What was that like?
Well, I was so proud of them. I'm just so pleased. I never really thought Carly would be. I didn't know that she was that interested in singing, and I'd never heard her sing the harmonies. And but when she started, she has learned all the harmonies and just hits it and just singing right up under her mama, hitting them high notes, and she's got feeling in her voice, and she's doing a good thing. She's doing a good job singing, yeah.
I think in 2014, Carly started singing with the group. Connie had gone through she was going through her second stage of cancer. And she couldn't travel with us for a little while. And I know our next date was in Tulsa, Oklahoma with Bill Gaither. And Dean was thinking about what we're gonna do to have somebody to fill in for Connie. So he decided he'd bring Carly. And he said, she may not can sing that good, but she'll look good on stage. So, and Carly's been singing since 2014 and doing a great job.
She really is. Well, Miss Connie, you're much of a hostess and you're much of a cook. And you were talking to us earlier and you said you've had many groups in this house. Tell us about that.
I was raised, I'll get back and tell you my age, and came along during the Great Depression and that, and my mom was a great cook, and when people would come to visit us, people used to just come during the night to visit, you know, but she never let them leave the house without giving them something to eat, and I guess that's where I got that from, but, and this one right here, he's always been saying, you know, he'll say, just come to see us, come and have dinner with us, you know, but he doesn't cook anything, so.
You're the one that has to cook.
But anyway.
Excellent cook.
And I enjoy that. The fact that people would actually come to our home, it just blesses me a lot, you know, and one of the first families was the Happy Goodman family. And we were singing in Madison, this little town over here, and Claude went to the side of the stage and asked Rusty, he said, Rusty, y'all want to come to the house to get something to eat? He says, let me ask Howard. So Howard was singing or Vestal One, and he walked back over and come back, and he said, Howard said, yeah, we'll come by, and they did. And I think I left when they said that, and I came home and I started frying chicken, and I fried chicken and fried chicken and fried chicken.
You were rushing it.
I think that's what people remember. But we, you know, just had a lot of folks.
We had Bill Gaither come by with his group.
Yeah, Bill Gaither's been here twice with his
And the Kingsman.
Kingsman. The Cathedral Quartet came twice. Yeah, they did. I loved Glenn and George. They were just down-to-earth people, yeah. And I just loved all of them, and I could probably name a lot of them, but it's just something that I appreciate doing, and I just appreciate the fact that they would even come to our home, you know. And we always had a good time. Greater Vision came.
When we built our home, we dedicated it to the Lord. Whoever comes by, they can spend the night, they can eat with us, and you'd be surprised how many people's come by, missionaries, and we tried to feed everybody that we could afford to. They came by.
Well, yes, sir, and you really do have a beautiful home, but do you have a favorite dish that she cooks?
Everything she cooks is good, but I love her fried chicken and gravy.
Man.
And she's number one when it comes to that.
I never learned to cook the new dishes. You know, people make these exotic dishes. Well, I just stuck to fried chicken and gravy and green beans and corn and peas and mashed potatoes or fried potatoes. That's all what I learned to do growing up. So I just kind of stuck with that. And you know, all the Tallies were with our group at one time or another, and they've eaten here quite a few times, you know. Well, not a whole lot, but several times, yeah. But they was really great friends.
Don't forget the pinto beans.
Oh yeah, I cook pinto beans, yeah.
Well, you've heard it here first. He likes the fried chicken and gravy and the pinto beans.
Oh yeah, and he wants to know where the slaw is to go with the beans, you know.
And the slaw.
But you know what? We're talking about us. But it's not really about us. It's about what God has done
Do you have any stories from the road?
This was at one of Gaither's tapings in his studio. Ben Spear came to me and he said, Connie, he said, have y'all got a fast song? He said, everybody's been singing slow songs.
Was that in Indiana?
Yeah, that was in Indiana. And I just thought.
And everybody was.
Wait, don't get to that yet.
Okay.
Anyway, I said, and I just thought, I mean, I knew all of our songs. And when we recorded Shouting Time, we decided, our piano player and I decided we'd get Kim to do that high callback because it wasn't in it back in the 60s when it was such a hot song, you know. Who you're going to see in the Smokies, he'll tell you all about it because Inspiration sang it for so long. But I just said, Ben, we don't have but one song, fast song, that right now that I know of. And I said, Shouting Time. He said, well, sing it. Well, by the time we got through with it in that studio, everybody was just going wild. And before Claude could sit down, Gaither stopped him and said, we're going to sing at the Georgia Dome this coming Saturday or next Saturday. He says, can y'all come down there?
And I was already booked. We was already booked.
already booked at Singing in the Smokies. So anyway, but we wasn't going to miss that. So we went down there, and I thought this song was sung so much during the 60s and the 70s. It'll be old to these people. But when we started, the place was electrified. And I don't know.
45,000 people.
And they were all on their feet. And,
wow.
We left the stage, and there's another on. He has to come back.
Yeah.
And
we went back. But that was a great time too. And that, when it went out on the video, people started calling from around the world, like Africa and all these places that we sung. I don't know, God is just, He's just given us such a wonderful ministry that.
he showed up that day.
Oh yes, he did. And I looked at Dean. That's when we were doing, I'm walking on the highway. I looked at him and I said, there's somebody in here besides us. And I knew that because I could feel the Spirit there. And anyway, that was just a great time.
So you guys have been married almost 65 years, right at 65 years. Do you have any advice for anybody watching on how to stay married so long? I don't know if that's the best way to put that question, but you know what I mean.
Well, when you said I do, that meant you stayed with her. I did. And the straight and narrow way. And it takes both of us. Sometimes she gets a little testy with me. I was home one day and during COVID, and she got a little testy of me. And I said, Connie, I'm going to give you a scripture. It's from Proverbs. It's better to live on the rooftop of a house than inside with a nagging woman. She said, well, get on up there then. So, but we've had a good life. I can't complain. Very little we've ever disagreed on. Mm-hmm. And I could really honestly say that. And she's been an inspiration, and she has been a great asset, if I may say that, in gospel music, and a great asset for the Hoppers. She really has. And she's probably going to tell you a lot of great things about me, so I'll let her do that.
Well, do you have anything to add on that?
Well, he has been a great individual. His life, you see that telephone on the wall in there for our first years here. He stayed on that phone trying to book some dates. But I understood that. We both had things we had to do, and I've been writing for the Singing News about 25 years, I think. We've just worked together, lived together, had our children, and sung together, and it's been great.
A lot of things we had to do were to support our ministry. So I went with an engineer and we built the first album stand. You know, you put your albums on, and after that, with the engineer, and we got a cassette rack. And then after the rack, after that, we went to a CD rack, then a CD and cassette rack, and 8-track tape rack now. So I did that, and me and a friend started. I always wanted a songbook with full-size sheet music. So I talked to Rex Nealon, and about six songs he had, and he said, "What do you got in mind?" And I said, "I'm gonna do a songbook size of sheet music." So we came up with Keep On Singing. We took a title from a mud flap of an 18-wheeler. We published 15 volumes of that.
Wow.
It was a great, everybody sung from the Keep On Singing, the churches and the groups. Now, if you had a song that was #1, I'd ask you for it, and you gave it to me, and I'd pay you royalties directly. That's what we did. Everybody that had a song that they owned, then we would give them royalties due to them. But if you had a group that you had some songs in there you like, we sent them to you wholesale, where you could make money. So I did about everything to try to subsidize our ministry. Rex Nealon and I bought 1 million books from Sam Baxter, Dallas, Texas. He got an 18-wheeler load, and I got an 18-wheeler load of songbooks. And
That's a lot.
and 500,000 songs printed, and they still are here in
Not 1 million of them, some of them.
sheet music when I was style. We would come out with that Keep On Singing. That was great. But I'm saying that God allowed me to do a lot of things. God healed her of cancer 42 years ago.
Wow.
And we didn't know what was going to do. But she could tell you all about it more than I can.
The Lord just touched me, and I got up and started singing again, and I had a whole lot more to praise Him about, you know.
That's right. Well, Brother Claude, I've heard you're a brilliant businessman. You've served on the board of the National Quartet Convention. You've operated a publishing company. You've even served on a board at a bank. You're just a brilliant man. But what I hear most is that you love people, you help people, and you're so kind to people. How do you feel to have that kind of legacy?
Well, I tell you, it's a lot of people helped me and helped my family. I think it's my duty. Of course, me and 7 other guys bought the convention in 1982. Prior to that, I served on the Gospel Music Board, GMA, Gospel Music Association Board. And one day, we was in Vancouver. They asked me to be on a committee to raise money to plant trees in Israel. Well, back then, they didn't have no trees in Israel. They got it now. And so, and my mama heard that, and she said, "Claude, I'll never go to Israel, but here's enough money to plant 4 trees for somebody else to sit under."
Wow.
And I had never forgotten that. After that, I started the Hopper Heritage Foundation. That's to help young people like you that wants to pursue their career in Christian music, Christian studies, and business and economics. Then we offer them a scholarship. You know, you help people help themselves. Then back in the 70s, I remember no group had no hospitalization insurance. You know, and I've been looking for that for years and years. So finally one day in Louisville, Kentucky, a man came out and he's president of Christian Healthcare. And he asked me to be on that board as Christian Healthcare Ministries in Barberton, Ohio. So I finally found something that was affordable. And everybody, almost, not every group, but as a member in the family, has got Christian health care. And we started the first singing cruise in 1974, the Kings and I. So
That's great.
we did a lot of things, I'm telling you. I just don't know, I look back and don't realize how God has used me.
Miss Connie, not only have you been Brother Claude's sweetheart all of these years, you've been the sweetheart of gospel music. People adore your voice. You've been voted favorite alto 9 out of these last 10 years, and that's just great. And if anybody's done it with class, it's been you, Miss Connie.
Thank you so much. I have always loved this music since I didn't know anything about this music at all until I joined the Hopper Brothers. And when I heard some of the great songs that was in this gospel music, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And I love the music and I love the messages, and I want to sing them and get them out to people.
Yes, ma'am.
I love the people. You know, I don't, and I'll be honest with you, I've never say, hey, I'm on the stage and I'm gonna sing it. I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful that God has allowed me to do this, and that to be a part of this and to be able to sing these songs, and I'm thankful for that. And so I've never had to worry about who was number 1 or who was number 2. It didn't matter as long as I could get up and sing and tell the people about the Lord.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've enjoyed this so much. Thank you guys so much for letting me be here today in your house. But how about this? Before I go, would you guys mind making my childhood dream come true?
Salvation has been brought down. No wonder the angels rejoice to know my sins have been covered by the crimson floor. Now I'm feeling fine. I'm walking on the highway with my It's shouting time in heaven. Oh yes, it's shouting time.
There we go.
It's shouting time in heaven. Oh yes, it's shouting time.
That's right. Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons, and thank you for watching this episode of Legends, a series where we honor the generations that came before us and paved the way. But I'd like to speak about a generation who has not had the chance to pave their way. A generation stolen, sold, and abused. Over 1 million children have been abducted and are being used for sexual exploitation and slavery. Just as young as 18 months old, but on average, just 15 years old. That's my age. It's a $99 billion industry generated by stolen children each year. It's a tragic epidemic that can no longer be ignored or overlooked. Over 1 million children's voices have been silenced. But today, I will be their voice, the voice of my generation. I will make the appeal of hope and rescue. Destiny's Rescue is an organization mission to rescue kids from human trafficking, to set them free and keep them free. Today we are announcing a partnership with Destiny's Rescue and Tate Emmons Ministries, and we're asking you to partner with us. For a monthly commitment only $40 or any gift that you can give, you will become actively in the fight to save these children's lives. And as of our way of saying thank you, I'll send you my debut album, Means Something to Me, along with Christmas with Tate, as our gift to you. By following the QR code at the bottom of the screen or going to tateemmons.com, you can become an official partner. A partner to save a stolen generation whose voices have been silenced. Let's be their voice. Let's stand in the gap for my generation.